I started to collect speeches from kids in the U.S. when they graduate high school. Like, what are kids saying today? Now that they're recognizing that school maybe is not as relevant, maybe is not as meaningful, maybe is not as applicable as it once was. Some kids are calling it out now. Some kids are, especially like even some really good students are figuring out that they weren't really good students. They just figured out the system. And they're letting you know that that's what they did. And let me tell you something. There is this, watching the kids bring that to their school community's attention, saying, hey, I was just the best at being a slave here. I was the best. I was the number one slave at the school. I did everything you told me to do. I did, and I asked you what it would take for me to do it well. I did exactly what you wanted to do, but you never asked me what I wanted. You never asked me how I can use this to not only better myself, but better what's around me and the community around me. You never asked me do you have any other hobbies or interests that you can bring into the classroom and share with us? You were interested in the fact that I did extra credit work for you on subjects while everybody else doodled and did stuff where they explored and learned, where they went on vacations and stuff. I took extra courses so that I can be here in front of you and let you know that I am the best at doing whatever you want me to do. And, it hit you like a ton of bricks, because even if you look at even the whole testing structure here in Australia, I mean, are you preventing doctors, really good doctors, from becoming doctors because you have this testing mechanism that only tests how much you know, rather how much you care? Yeah. Can you be a better doctor if you cared more about people rather than if you just know more about the biology of someone? I think that's why, what I love about it, don't get me wrong, Kim, that's what's exciting right now for teachers. And I tell teachers, you know what's interesting about the word exciting? Sorry. You know what's interesting about the word exciting is fear is built into it. Yep. Fear is a part of excitement. People who like to surf waves. I just watched this documentary of a surfer who the whole documentary is about the 5 scariest moments in surfing. And almost every single time after he tells a story, he's smiling, about the scary moment that he overcame. Do you think it's going to stop a surfer? No, because a surfer's life, his life is about those moments. In fact, I thought those Australians are crazy because they're even like they get part of your body chewed off by a shark. What do? They get back out there, because exciting, challenging is such a critical part. And I think in schools, what happens in fear in schools? What happens to a lot of adults when they see fear, feel fear, and come close? Or when they see a challenge or hear about challenge? They want to walk away. So
that's right. And that's how that story develops. We all know good stories, if they're going to be engaging, have an element of tension in them. So that excitement and tension, if we can see that in teachers and they're able to deal with that and move on from it and overcome those fears, and be able to retell that story with that emotion and tension, and other ones
Absolutely.
Are going to connect with.
You have to have tension. I mean, I learned this from a musician. If you just, because I've been learning about, again, I've been doing this math patterning things and music's math patterning, and it was interesting is that here are all these notes that sound really pretty together, and you can play these notes and it sounds pretty all the time, but life isn't pretty. So if you're going to do this song, you're just going to bore people. You're just going to end up like in an elevator, like just annoying people up and down. That's because you didn't know how to tell a story. You just are giving me this false premise. You need to tell me that you can die in here in this elevator. And then when you don't, when it opens up, it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Because you had a different part of the story. And I think that conflict is something that it's interesting how we want to run away from it in schools. Whereas I tell teachers all the time, please do everything possible to see your kids deal with mistakes. I mean, please do everything possible. Get yourself in a situation where you have to get yourself out of, because, that's what really is going to show your ability to solve problems and kids' ability to solve problems.